Good morning, everyone. You've probably already noticed that I've been talking about the final summative project, so I just wanted to walk you through what is currently available now that we are heading into March break. You do not have to complete anything before March break, but it is really important that you have a look at some of these documents so that you know what you need to do. When we come back from March break, we have a fairly compressed timeline because everything must be completed by the last week of May. And although Unit 4 is relatively small, we're still working on Unit 4 while we get started working on the summative. So knowing what you're doing will be really helpful to you. In order to find the information about the summative, you want to go over to the menu and click on this link for the summative project, and then click into the unit where you'll find the instructions. And the main handout that gives you the information about what the summative is all about and what components are there is this one here. So if you click on it, it will show you your overview of the assignment and what sorts of things to expect from it. The project components. There are 3 components to the project. The first is your proposal and research plan, which is coming up after the March break. Then the actual media campaign itself, which is the core of the project. And a final presentation, which you will be doing via Blackboard Collaborate in the last week of the course. The timeline is here, so please have a look at the timeline. It's really important that if you have any conflicts with this timeline, you let me know as soon as possible so that we can arrange whatever you need to do in a way that will work for everyone and still, again, have all of the work completed by the deadline for submitting the final marks for this course. If we go back to Blackboard and go to the next page of instructions, you'll see that there is a link here to a wiki where you can do some brainstorming for the topics that I have suggested for the final summative. If you think of other areas that might be interesting to you, you can always add a page or suggest that content. Again, if you look at the instructions for the summative, you'll see that we're focusing on advocating for marginalized groups and making changes within our community with regard to attitudes and behaviors around marginalized groups. So these are some of the suggestions for different marginalized groups, and you'll see that over here there should also be a list. And again, if you're not seeing this link, then make sure that you are opening it up. Alternatively, you can click on one of these to take you to one of those pages. The instructions are at the top of the wiki here, and they are repeated on this main home page. Please don't make changes to this main page. I will ask you, though, to make changes to the subpages. And on each subpage, I've included a starter link for you to an organization that is a local change agent making changes and advocating within a particular community. And I encourage you to find out what kinds of change agents there are in your own community, because of course everybody lives in slightly different places in this course, so you are welcome to work with an organization that is within your own community. And again, you'll want to make contact with one of these change agents. So if we can get a good list of possible places to make contact, that would be great. Again, this whole idea of collaborating here and sharing and brainstorming, this is the kind of thing that we might be doing in class if we were face-to-face. So take advantage of it because it's a really good opportunity to share ideas, not necessarily just work on your own. And even if this is not an area that you're interested in working in, so for example, if you're not interested in working with a First Nations group, then if you're interested in working with New Canadians or LGBTQ+ communities, that's fine. But if you know of something that might be useful to another person, please post it, because then you never know. They may post something that would be really useful to you. There's a little element of karma here. So take the opportunity to help each other and to collaborate and to share information. If we go back to the pages of the summative project instructions, the last page that you'll find here at this point is the assignment that is the final summative project proposal. There's a document here that I'll ask you to download and to fill out, and I believe I still have it on my screen somewhere. There it is. And it's very straightforward. These are the things that I want you to know about, what you're thinking about, and then you would just replace this information that's in italics with your own content, answering the questions or providing the information that I've asked you for, and then you will submit it as an assignment here. The deadline for submitting is April 7th. Previously, I had said March 31st, but given the opportunity to collaborate using the Wiki, I wanted to extend that a little bit so that you could share with each other a little bit after the March break and make use of that information. So I'm moving that deadline to April 7th. Keep in mind that this does compress the timeline after that a little bit because that final deadline for submitting marks is the same no matter when the rest of the process takes place. I will accept revisions for the proposal. I will accept them up until April 12th. You must submit on time in order to get that revision information back from me in order to be able to resubmit by April 12th. You might want to resubmit because this is a marked assignment. The proposal is worth 5%. The entire summative is worth 30%, which is the requirement from the Ministry of Education. The first 5% is this proposal. 15% is the bulk of the assignment. So you can see here the media campaign worth 15%. And then the final presentation is worth 10%. So together, those make up your 30%. And that is, this is one component that you are allowed to revise. So if there are problems with your proposal, I will send it back to you and you can revise it up until that April 12th date, not only to earn a better mark on it, but also to make sure that you're set up for better success with the rest of your project. So it's a good idea to take advantage of that opportunity. Going back to the final submission, again, submit the document here, and you'll see that there is a rubric available. If you click on it, it's a very straightforward rubric. These are the things that I want to see in your proposal, and these are the levels of completion and clarity. So how much detail you've provided and whether it's clear and whether it looks good for you to go ahead. And I will be just marking it straight in here. And if you have any questions about it when you go to revise, you're welcome to ask me. So that's what you need to know for now about your final summative project. And of course, if you have any questions, please let me know. But I would suggest that you start thinking about it in order to be prepared to get working on it immediately after March break.